Eren's abs have been by far the most requested video on my channel. And it's not hard to see why. They're lean, they're aesthetic, and honestly quite realistic for a lot of people watching this video. Attack on Titan is also just a really popular series, so people have really started to relate to a lot of these characters and feel them on a very intimate level. And so because they're so close to these characters, they end up wanting to, at least in some capacity, imitate what they do. We've been following Eren ever since 2015, and this is the final season. So yeah, it's easy to see why. The world in general has a really passionate fixation on abs. They are perhaps the most elusive muscle group. There are many videos with millions and millions of views with like how to get a six-pack or six-pack workouts. But in reality, all of this is nonsense, or most of it is nonsense. Well, actually it's like half and half, I guess. On one side, we have people who believe that like ab workouts are basically useless and that you're better off just cutting the calories and abs are made in the kitchen sort of people. And on the other side, again, we have people who do all these 10-minute ab workouts in hopes that they're gonna get a six-pack. Both of them are kind of right. In my opinion, abs are revealed in the kitchen, but they are developed in the gym. So I guess abs are made in the gym, but revealed in the kitchen. Let's talk about it. By now, in 2022, I hope nobody still believes that you can spot reduce belly fat, because that's just not possible. You can't do ab exercises and hope that the fat in your abs will magically just disappear. That's just not going to happen. You can try and mask your fat and give it a better shape by building muscle, but the fat is always going to be there. It's not spot reducing fat or anything. Like for example, you could grow your lats and that will mask your love handles because the lats are creating the illusion that your love handles are smaller than they are because you're widening out at the lats. But that is not going to take away the fat in your lats. It's just fat in your love handles. It's just masking it. Now, it's also important to mention that some people actually just store fat differently. Some people store more fat in their legs. Some people store more fat in their stomach. And a lot of that is just genetic, but even then, they still lose fat everywhere at the same time. It's just some places lose fat more when you lose like 5 pounds of fat. Some people will lose like 4 pounds in their stomach and then the rest elsewhere in their body. Whereas some people would have that more evenly spread out throughout the rest of their body. They aren't consciously choosing where to lose their fat. It just happens to be that genetically they store fat differently. And this is very apparent with the two genders. Men, we carry a lot of fat in our stomach. It's very unfortunate, but we carry a lot of fat in our stomach. Women, they're kind of fortunate because they carry a lot of fat in their thighs. Now, again, you can build muscle to give your fat a better shape. Like for example, if you just look at Eddie Hall, for example, that guy's probably like 20% body. I'm just throwing numbers out there. It depends on at what point you're looking at him, but he's probably like, I don't know, 20, maybe at some points he was like 30% body fat, but he still had like an outline of muscle. And even at like his lowest body fat percentages, which is like maybe, I don't know, maybe 20%, maybe 17% body fat was his lowest body fat when he was like training to be a boxer to fight the Thor, I believe it was. He still had a six-pack. Not only did he have a six-pack, he just had like well-shaped muscles in general, despite the fact that he was, at quite a high body fat. And then we also have people who have very low body fat percentages, but no abs. I'm sure we all know that that very skinny person who just has no muscle whatsoever. And you can see his rib cage, but you can't see his abs. He might have an outline of a sort of six-pack looking thing, but he doesn't have a the full-on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it seems that just lowering your body fat percentage, like a lot of people say, just just lower your body fat percentages and your abs will be revealed. That doesn't seem to be enough for some people. And on the other hand, some people still have high body fat percentages and you can still see their abs. So, just doing some critical thinking, there seems to be some sort of mix between them. You need both a low body fat percentage and abdominal muscles highly developed. Your abs are revealed better when you have a low body fat percentage, but you still need a lot of musculature in your abs to really get it to really pop. I like this graphic by James Q Fitness. Everyone has abs. Some people have underdeveloped abs covered by fat. Some people have developed abs that are still covered by fat, but then you can still see them. And that's why you can still see Eddie Hall's abs despite the fact that he isn't very lean. With strongmen in general, they have very, very strong cores. They have to lift all these precarious and unconventional objects. In order to do this without snapping your spine or herniating your discs, you need extremely strong core muscles, and of course, core strength, and strength and size are at least fairly well correlated. But still, of course, again, you need to have a low body fat percentage to actually reveal your abs. So it's sort of a back and forth. It goes both ways. I know that this isn't necessarily new information to you guys. Like, of course, you need ab development and you need low body fat percentage, but people underestimate just how much core development that you can actually get, and how much abs you can have, that are still visible at a very high body fat percentage if you have just extremely ridiculous core muscles. Now, practically speaking, ab exercises aren't necessary, but they can be an extra boost if you want to do that. Doing compound exercises generally tends to work on your core a lot. Like, for example, doing pull-ups works on your core a lot. And in general, just calisthenics-based exercises work on your core a lot more than most other exercises that I've noticed. And here on Poly Athletics, I incorporate a lot of calisthenics and weights together in order to gain the holistic, full benefits of both of them. And I think one of the benefits of calisthenics is that it incorporates your core a lot, which will make you be able to have a six-pack, a more defined six-pack, and especially more defined six-pack at higher body fat percentages. But of course, direct ab work doesn't hurt that, and it just helps it if you're really interested in getting a good six-pack. So, my advice would be to do it, a few times a month. Probably shouldn't be too often, that way it doesn't interfere with your recovery with your main program. But on a rest day, if you're just feeling a little bored, then you can just pull up some ab exercises and then just do a quick 30 minute ab workout. And of course, building abs also builds muscle, and that contributes to your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Even though it's a little bit, it still does contribute to it a bit. Now, there is actually a danger when doing ab exercises, like direct ab exercises, is that your waist might get really big. Because if you look at all these strong men, they obviously just have really big frames, of course, but there's no doubt that I think it's bodybuilders who said that they don't work on their obliques, for example, because it makes their waist look really big. So, I think that your stomach in general might just look really big if you have really big ab muscles. And yeah, just watch out for doing a lot of oblique work, because that might make your waist look bigger. And there is a danger of if your ab muscles are really big, even when you're pouting your stomach out, you still might have a large stomach. And even though you take off your shirt, you'll have a six-pack, you'll still have a large stomach. So I think that's something to consider. It hasn't happened to me. I don't think I have a large gut or anything, a large paunch or anything, but this can happen, and it's worth being aware of that. So there is a risk to this. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing this too often, which is why I said once every few months. So for specific ab exercises, I think that you should be doing some sort of crunching movement. My go-to crunching movement is the decline crunch or decline sit-up. You can, of course, progressively overload this by having a weight on your chest. There's also a leg raising exercise that I think is important, and for this you can either do knee raises or leg raises on the hanging bar. And then I believe you should also be doing a core stability exercise, and this just to be a little more functional. And part of the function of your core is to stabilize your body, so I think that's important to have. And for this one, I like to do planks. You can overload this by having more weight on your back, or what I like to do is I like to move my arms further away from my shoulders. That way I have to balance myself more. And this will also get your lower back involved. So it doesn't just work your six-pack muscles, your rectus abdominis, but also just your entire core. So that's the lower back as well. And yeah, that'll be it for the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers now. Holy crap, we're at 910 by the time I'm recording this. So, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.